Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 28th of January 2022. Before we begin, here is an important announcement. BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS is organizing a workshop for the benefit of all the IAS aspirants on Sunday, that is 30th of January 2022 at 11 am. One of our experts, Mukesh sir, will help you set the right strategy for your preparation. So if you're looking for guidance and strategy for your UPSC preparation for 2023, do register yourself. The registration is free and the link can be found in the description box. Now let us begin and have a look at the first question for today. Which of the following technologies are based on bioremediation? Number 1, bioventing. Number 2, biosparging. Number 3, bio-augmentation. Number 4, composting. Pause the video, take a moment to mark the right answer. Now let us understand what bioremediation is. In simple terms, this bioremediation is a technique of cleaning the environment. In this technique, microbes are used to degrade the contaminants or pollutants in the soil or water, right? Now this question is asking us about the technologies that are based on bioremediation. Let us have a look at each of these options and arrive at the answer. On the basis of the treatment, the techniques used can be classified as ex situ bioremediation, which is treating the pollutants off the site, and in situ bioremediation, where pollutants are treated on site itself. Bioventing is a bioremediation technique which is used where the contamination is deep inside the soil. In this technique, nutrients are supplied to the soil by digging channels, and the microorganisms that are already present there are supplied with nutrients through these channels, and the process of biodegradation starts. So this is based on bioremediation. Now coming to biosparging. Biosparging involves the cleaning of contamination of groundwater, and this method is similar to bioventing. The nutrients and oxygen is supplied through the wells and tunnels, so the indigenous bacteria gets activated. So this is also a technique of bioremediation. Now coming to bio-augmentation. Now this is the practice of adding cultured microorganisms into the subsurface for biodegrading specific soil or groundwater contaminants. In most of the cases in bio-augmentation process, cultured microorganisms are used, and these would be specialists in degrading that specific target contaminant or pollutant. For example, in the case of municipal wastewater. So this is also a technique of bioremediation. Now coming to composting. Composting as well is a technique of bioremediation. Here the organic waste decomposes under oxygen-rich conditions. All of these four are eco-friendly techniques for degradation of pollutants. So the right answer would be option D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Why have we taken this question? We've taken this question because there is a reference to bioremediation in the Hindu newspaper today. Moving on to question number 2. Which of the given pairs is or are correctly matched? Number 1, Velu Nachiyar, the first Indian queen to wage war against the British East India Company. Number 2, Jhalkari, a woman soldier who was one of the key advisors to Kittur Rani Chennamma. Number 3, Rani Abakka, Tuluva Queen of Ullal, known for her revolt against the British East India Company in 1824. What is the context? This article in the Hindu newspaper today says that a pictorial book on India's women unsung heroes of freedom struggle has been released. And this very article has a reference to these women leaders of Indian freedom struggle, and hence we've taken this question. Now coming back to the question. Velu Nachiyar was the princess of Ramanathapuram in southern India, and she was married to the king of Shivagangai. After the British soldiers and the son of Nawab of Arcot conquered Sivaganga and killed her husband, she built her army and joined hands with Gopala Nayakar and Hyder Ali. And then they waged war against the British and regained her kingdom. And also she is known as the first Indian queen to wage war against the British East India Company. So number 1 becomes correct. Coming to Jhalkari Bai. Jhalkari Bai was a woman soldier who played an important role during the revolt or rebellion of 1857. She served in the women's army of Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi and was her key advisor. And she was not key advisor of Kittur Rani Chennamma. Therefore, 2 is incorrectly matched. 3 is also incorrect because Queen Abakka was a woman warrior from Ullal who fought against the Portuguese in the later half of the 16th century. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option A, 1 only. Coming to question number 3. Which of the given statements with respect to Mullaperiyar Dam is or are incorrect? Number 1. The Maharaja of Travancore signed a 999-year Periyar Lake Lease Agreement with the British government in 1886 for its construction across the Periyar River. Number 2. The dam is located in Kerala but is operated by Tamil Nadu. Number 3. It is India's largest masonry dam. What is the context? According to an article in the Hindu newspaper today, a status report on the condition of the Mullaperiyar Dam has been submitted by the Central Water Commission to the Supreme Court. See, this dam is located on the confluence of the Mullayar and Periyar rivers in Kerala's Idukki district. However, it is controlled by the Tamil Nadu government. So if we look at statement 2 here, statement 2 becomes correct. It is located in Kerala but is operated by Tamil Nadu, right? So if you know this, you can easily rule out option A and option C because the question demands incorrect statement. Now coming to statement number 1. A lease indenture of 999 years was signed in the year 1886 between the Maharaja of Travancore and the Secretary of State for India for Periyar irrigation works. And by another agreement in the year 1970, Tamil Nadu was permitted to generate power here. The first issue with this agreement came up in the year 1979 when there was a minor earthquake and this resulted in cracks in the dam. And now this Mullaperiyar Dam continues to be a bone of contention between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So since statement 1 is correct, option D will also be ruled out. Now that all the other options are ruled out, we've arrived at our answer, which is option B, 3 only. So Mullaperiyar is not India's largest masonry dam. See, a masonry dam is a dam that is mainly made of stone and bricks and sometimes joined with mortar. So they are either gravity or arc gravity dams. Now we know Mullaperiyar is not India's largest masonry dam. So your task here is to let me know in the comment section which is the largest masonry dam in India. Coming to question number 4. In which among these dance forms are characters grouped under clearly defined types Pacha, Kathi, Thadi, Kari or Minukku? Option A, Mohiniyattam. Option B, Bharatanatyam. Option C, Kuchipudi. Option D, Kathakali. Why this question? An article in the Hindu newspaper today says that an ambassador of Kathakali, Milena Salvini, who was awarded with the Padma Shri in the year 2019, has passed away. Since there is a reference to this classical dance form from Kerala, we've taken this question. See, UPSC has asked questions from classical dance forms as well as classical music forms in the previous years. And that is why it becomes important for us to understand the features and the uniqueness of each of these dance forms. And today, let us discuss about Kathakali. As we've already discussed, Kathakali originated in Kerala. And this dance form is a blend of dance, music, acting and dramatizes stories. In this dance form, the characters are grouped under 5 distinct types. That is, Pacha or green to portray noble characters, Katti or knife that portray arrogant or evil characters, Kari or black that again portrays evil characters, Thadi or bearded in which there are 3 types of characters which is Chuvanna Thadi or red beard, Vella Thadi or white beard and Karutta Thadi or black beard. And the last one or the 5th one is Minukku or radiant, which is used for spiritual characters. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option D, Kathakali. Now let us take up a previous year question from Prelims paper 2016. Consider the following. Number 1, Calcutta Unitarian Committee. Number 2, Tabernacle of New Dispensation. Number 3, Indian Reform Association. Keshab Chandra Sen is associated with the establishment of which of the above? See, if we take a look at the Calcutta Unitarian Committee, this was formed by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Dwaraknath Tagore and William Adam. And K.C. Sen was not associated with this organization, so 1 becomes incorrect. In the year 1881, K.C. Sen established the Nababidhan, or also known as the Tabernacle of New Dispensation, after having differences with Brahmo Samaj. So this is correct. And when we look at Indian Reform Association, this was formed in the year 1870 with Keshab Sen as its president, and this represented the secular side of Brahmo Samaj. So this is also correct. Therefore, the right answer to the question would be option B, 2 and 3 only. Now let us take up the fact of the day for today, conditional market authorization for Covishield and Covaxin. What is the context? The Drugs Controller General of India or DCGI has given conditional market authorization for two of COVID-19 vaccines, which is Covaxin and Covishield. So what exactly is this conditional market authorization? So this form of market authorization is a new category that has emerged during the COVID-19 pandemic. Under this route, the approval pathways are fast-tracked but with certain conditions. This is done to ensure that there is enhanced access to certain pharmaceuticals which are needed for meeting emerging needs of drugs and vaccines. Earlier, these two vaccines, that is Covishield and Covaxin, were granted Emergency Use Authorization or EUA. And this route was invoked for public health emergency like the pandemic itself for restricted use in emergency situations only. Now that these vaccines meet high standards of safety and effectiveness, they have been upgraded to conditional market authorization. So how is conditional market authorization different from emergency use authorization? This conditional market authorization relaxes some of the regulatory requirements on monitoring the safety of these vaccines. So under EUA, manufacturers had to submit safety and efficacy data every 15 days or a month. But under the conditional market authorization, this has to be submitted every 6 months. So now we know how it is different from emergency use authorization. How is this conditional market authorization different from full market authorization? So, a drug or a vaccine that has received full or general market authorization would be available in pharmacies or chemist shops for over-the-counter purchases. But these vaccines, which have now got conditional market authorization, will be available for private hospitals and private clinics to procure. But however, there needs to be required documentation and payment, and this won't be available at pharmacies. So what condition has to be fulfilled under this conditional market authorization? Under this conditional market authorization, adverse events following immunization as well as adverse events of special interest will continue to be monitored, and this data has to be submitted every 6 months. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.